Okay, let's start. Lesson 3.1. Okay, do you see this image? First, the image that is presented is the planet Earth, which is also called biosphere. The organisms that are present on the biosphere interact with each other, and the science that study that is ecology. Ecology can be defined as the scientific study of interactions among organisms and between organisms and their physical environment. The term ecology comes from the Greek word oikos, which means house, but this word is also the root of the word economics. But I'm not here to talk about economics. The levels of organization that ecologists study are the following. First one, a species, group of similar organisms that can breed and produce fertile offspring. Then population, group of individuals of the same species. Community, assemblage of different populations that live together in a defined area. Ecosystem, all the organisms that live in a place together with their physical environment. Biome, group of ecosystems that share similar climates and organisms. Biosphere, our entire planet with all the organisms and physical environments. Ecologists use the word environment to all the factors that surround an organism, and these include biotic and abiotic factors. Biotic factors can be defined as biological influences on organisms, and abiotic factors, physical components of an ecosystem. Ecological methods that can we use are the following. First one, observation. This is the first step in an experiment or investigation. Experimentation. This is basically for the test of hypotheses. It can be set up an artificial environment. Modeling. Models are for experiments that take too long to study or things that are global, for example, global warming. Let's start with the lesson 3.2. What are the primary producers? The primary producers are the first producers of energy-rich compounds that are later used by other organisms, also called autotrophs. These ones use the sun and make the process of photosynthesis that captures light energy and use it to power chemical reactions that converts carbon dioxide and water into oxygen and carbohydrates. The following are the type of consumers. Consumers are organisms that rely on other organisms for energy and nutrients, also called heterotrophs. Now, the type of consumers. First one, carnivores, kill and eat other animals. Herbivores, obtain energy and nutrients by eating plants. Omnivores, eat both plants and animals. Scavengers, animals that consume the carcasses of other organisms. Decomposers, feed by chemically breaking down organic matter. Detritivores, digest decomposers that live in detritus particles. Lesson 3.3. Energy flow in ecosystems. The energy flow through the ecosystem in a one-way stream. Food chain. Series of steps in which organisms transfer energy by eating and being eaten. In aquatic food chains, the primary producers are phytoplankton, which is floating algae. Here are some examples of food chains. If one organism decay on a food chain or food web affects all of it, it can cause an extinction. Now, trophic levels. Trophic levels can be defined as every step in a food chain. Okay, now is a food web. Food web is a network of feeding interactions among the organisms, in which one organism can eat more than one kind of food. Now, there are pyramids to represent everything. Ecological pyramids show the relative amount of energy or matter within each trophic level. Pyramid of energy shows the relative amount of energy available at each trophic level. Pyramid of biomass illustrates the relative amount of living organic matter at each trophic level. Pyramid of number shows the relative amount of individual organisms at each trophic level. Notice that these two last ones use the same representation of the pyramid.